Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer board game review. And today's game up on the tabletop is Galaxy Trucker, but the second expansion for the remastered, remade 2021 version. Do what? This is the second expansion, and this is what we're going to be covering today. Now, I have reviewed the original Galaxy Trucker a long time ago, and then the remastered version not that long ago. I believe this was in 2021. And this one is 2025 now. And there's Keep On Truckin', which is the one I didn't actually review between these two, which I would like to do at some point. But this is going to come with some unique new aspects to Galaxy Trucker. You're going to get VIP characters you can now place on your ship, nasty cargo you may or may not want to hold on your ship, events and missions you'll be able to accomplish, a few extra little cards here and there, VIP tokens, and really nasty events that you can add to your gameplay to make the game a little bit more challenging. And so we'll talk about a lot of these things here. Now in this video, normally for most reviews I do the how do I set the game up, how do I play, and then my review. But what I'm going to do is cut it into two parts, which is the basic updates to setup. And if you want to watch the Galaxy Trucker video for how to set the main game up, I'll give you a link down below in the description. And then we'll talk about the review for just this expansion here, how it pertains to Galaxy Trucker, the new version, and whether you should pick it up or not. So let's go ahead and get started with the all-in-one thing here with this Do What expansion. So Galaxy Trucker is set up the same way when you include this expansion. You get your player boards, your starting base, these little guys here, your little ships. You may pick out your main game board as well as what different flight you'd like to take here. I set it for flight 1 and I placed all my tiles face down here. And of course, I've got my VIPs now. This is the first addition that you'll be adding to this expansion here, where you'll have the 4 VIP characters for each of the different colors, red, blue, and yellow. You'll have each deck, you'll shuffle them up and place one face up for each deck. You're also going to shuffle and set aside these events. They range from, I believe it's like 1 to 16 different ones you can choose to do. And you'll be drawing 2 and picking one in the game. And as well as these extra S-class missions that you can include, whether it be as kind of a customized way to play the game or by adding them whenever an event or a mission calls for it. Everything else is the same as far as setup goes. All the resources and aliens, the 1s, 2s, 3s cards, setting aside the money, etc., etc., it's all the same. Any additional components like these nasty components you can choose to add to your ship are going to have a different back color, so you'll know what to look for when you're digging for them in the different missions. So you can set those face up and set them to the side. And that's pretty much all the additional setup. Like, if this doesn't make any sense to you, I suggest watching the first video for how Galaxy Trucker is set up. But mainly you're going to get VIPs, special cards, special tokens, and a few gigamabobs here and there. Alright, let's talk about what this comes with and how they're all conjoined with the base Galaxy Trucker. So the Do What expansion comes with the VIP characters, which is similar to the brown and pink aliens. They are going to give you a benefit, typically speaking, for the game, and then an end of game bonus that you can gain. And they'll have a requirement you'll have to meet in order to place them into your little colony stations, the little pods where you normally place little characters or aliens. Now you can place VIPs as long as you meet the criteria. Like for instance, this one here is a Rush politician. He has to have a cabin that is in view of an engine, a single or a double. And if you meet this criteria, it'll be turn-based, so whoever is first in turn order will get the option to take him, second, third, and fourth, and you can have up to all 3 of the VIPs if you would like, as long as your ship can fit them, but you only get 1 character as opposed to the 2. And these guys function just like normal crew members. They can run the ship if need be. They count towards whether or not you're going to have to give up. If it's your last crew member and then you lose him, that will end your game, but it does count as a crew member regardless. He's just a little fancier than the rest of them. You're also going to get these missions here. These missions are, well, like a module. You can choose to use them or not. You'll basically draw 2 at the start of your game, choose to select one of them, and then add the components it tells you to add. Maybe you'll have to add heavy cargo to the mix, or maybe you're going to have to ride a power keg and include explosive cargo and a specific nasty event in the game. So these are all unique random missions that you can kind of attach to the game mode. And of course, if you'd like, you can just add nasty cards to your game if you want a little bit more spice. There's a bunch of variety of cards. Typically speaking, there's going to be a lot of raider fleets and black holes you'll have to deal with, meteor showers, and asteroids. These are all things that you probably don't want to deal with unless you're looking to suffer a little bit of pain and punishment. And finally, the thing we'll talk about is the different types of components you'll gain. They all have a different back on them, and they all do something nasty to your ship. They're things you don't want on your ship, but they give you a reward if you're able to use them in a way that will accomplish the goal of the specific mission. That being said, that's pretty much all the main expansion components, and for each Galaxy Trucker box, it tells you on the back what it comes with. You haul the cargo you don't want to, fly daring missions, super dangerous super cards, and VIPs, as well as, if you'd like, there's a turn-based mode in this game as opposed to simultaneous puzzle selecting. Okay, so what do I think about it, and how does it relate to the original Galaxy Trucker? Let's find out. The main aspect to the Galaxy Trucker Do What expansion is going to be the missions. Missions will basically allow you to use the additional cargo and tiles that come with the expansion, as well as a lot of these cards, these mission cards that you will include. Now, of course, you can just choose to place the nasty cargo in, but I don't think you typically would. It's not like the other regular cargo, because they're all going to do negative effects, and without a mission, there's really no benefit to most of them, so I don't see why you would, but I guess you just could add them as a way to increase different tile counts. So, realistically, they go with the missions, though. However, with these fancy cards here, these you can choose to just add to the mission if you want a more dangerous and harrowing challenge. You can just throw these guys in, or you can just use them for the missions. But that's why this whole expansion revolves around missions, is because a lot of the components you need to have, basically, or want to have the missions alongside them to gain you some type of valuable benefit, as opposed to just pain and suffering. The VIP, however, are kind of a separate little module you can choose to add or not. They are a way in which you can now add these crew members as long as you meet the criteria of them, and they each have different criteria, and they all have a little symbol as to how you're going to have to meet them. Maybe it's going to be a connection, or maybe it has to have batteries attached to it in some way, or view a certain type of portion of the ship. And if you meet those, you gain the benefit. And they have certain things, whether it's a before flight, or an in-flight ability, or a final reward. You will just do whatever they said. Here, before flight, start of the flight, move a day forward for the flight level. So this will be flight 1. I'll get 1 free bonus movement, which can push me ahead of another player and have the option to do my actions first. Final reward is after you finish your order bonus, you gain half those credits rounded up. That's pretty solid. So there's ways you can gain benefits from VIPs, even though you get 1 crew member as opposed to 2, and you have to meet the criteria in order to gain them. I really like the VIP aspect to the game. It's a new way of adding unique little aliens to your game, and in this case they're actually human, but they have a function. Aliens typically are going to either give you 2 speed or 2 lasers, as long as you can place them on your ship and you'll get 1 of each, whereas with the VIPs, you can get 1 of each of the different crew members and place them down into your ship and gain some type of benefit. And there is a variety of unique cards. I believe there's at least 5, if not 6, of each of the different types of VIPs, and for each new mission you go on, you flip over a new VIP and have an opportunity to place them on your ship. But they're totally optional. If you don't want to go for them or don't want to even bother meeting the criteria, you can simply ignore it. The one negative thing about the VIP members is because this game is so large, being able to place them within reach of all players to see and actively go for them is kind of a challenge. And so what I recommend for people is, while playing the game, after the game timers are over and you've flipped all the way across all of your timers, then you're going to have the opportunity to gain these guys in order. And I would suggest to go through each player in order and check to see if they meet the criteria and whether they want the member or not. Because it's hard to see it, and you might miss out on the fact that you actually completed it without even looking at it before somebody else grabs it. So to make it fair, you can do it turn-based order after the simultaneous play is done to gain these guys. Now we have the missions. The missions, there's 16 different missions. These are missions that are chosen by, I believe, the players. These are like the most popular aspects to Galaxy Trucker. It was the last expansion that I think brought these guys in. It's the only expansion in the old set I don't have. So I didn't know a whole lot about these, but drawing these and then incorporating them into the game in some way. Like for instance, we did a live stream the other day, which includes the heavy cargo. The greater the weight you deliver, the higher reward you get. Just make sure your ship can leave. So there's a kind of a, if you have 6 power and you have 6 weight to your cargo, you will instantly have to give up. So you have to have more power so that your truck can at least get out of the landing zone in order to even participate in this event. And if you do, whoever has the most cargo by the end will win. And there is some benefits to having the cargo, but mostly it just slows you down. And you have to have at least some because you need to at least travel with it, otherwise you'll suffer a very negative effect. And there is just a variety of these. Now, there are also 4 different unique cargoes. Some of them are likely to explode more. Some of them are going to be extremely heavy. And I'll let you check out the rest of them as well if you'd like. There's only 2 other ones, so I don't want to spoil everything for you. And of course, we talked about these crazy cards that come with the missions themselves. And they're all terrible. Pretty much all, I think all terrible. Robbers, bandits, pirates, contamination, stardust, radiation, meteor showers, black holes, asteroids, tactical zones. All this stuff is just the most evil cards you can imagine, and they are the worst for the 3 different games for the new set Galaxy Trucker. The Do What, the previous expansion, which I haven't reviewed, and the base game as well. And adding those is really up to you in discretion. I would suggest, obviously, with this game, a lot of house rules to change things to make it how you want them to be. They've kind of condensed the new game here to be a lot more simplified and easier to understand and easier to kind of adjust things as you'd like, including adding or removing titles from the game, adding or removing the missions, all these different components you can do so just like the original one, but the rules are cleaner and the components are easier. Everything's just a little bit easier, a little bit more friendly to understand. The Do What expansion, overall, I like this expansion. It's cool, but it mainly revolves around missions, and I don't know how much I care about doing the missions. I like extra component modules, I like having extra tiles in the game, I like having extra miniatures that do different things, I like complicating the actual shipbuilding aspect, and then complicating the process that you're getting through. But not in the way of having to add unique little missions that have to think of even more stuff. Like I like remembering the components, not having to think about, okay, I need to do this and this before the mission and this after the mission, I get these extra points. And so missions, they're not like a negative for me or anything, but they're not like something that's uber positive. So I could do without the missions, especially because it makes me sad that I'm not really gonna be adding these pieces to the game unless I'm playing those missions. So there's a bunch of new pieces we got, I can't just throw them in for a regular game without doing one of these missions. Or, I mean, I guess I can, but they all have different backs, so I know I'm drawing a bad one when I do so. So, yeah. However, the Super Nasty cards, I love these guys. I want these. These were great in the original Galaxy Trucker, and I would be happy to just have them and add them to game modes with more professional players or people who play a lot more like myself to make the game even more challenging to see our ships blow the hell up. And so these are awesome. VIP characters are another great thing. They're a thing that's added. You can use them or not. You can go for them or not. Or you can just get lucky and maybe you meet the criteria of them and you happen to be first place or second and you can just pick one up. And they give benefits and they're worth doing. But they're not kind of this thing that you're actively having to think about up until you get it. And then you have to think about maybe 1, maybe 2. You're not going to get all 3, realistically speaking, but they're a nice little addition. Gives you an extra title. I don't care much about titles realistically, so for me personally with this expansion, the most I care about is the bonus scary cards and the VIP crew. And I really dig these aspects of the game, but it's only like maybe a third of the expansion because the rest of it is missions. Now, I've given the missions a good go over. I've played about 4 or 5 of them, and I didn't dislike them. I thought they were pretty fun. The way they worked made it more challenging for players. This is definitely not an expansion to get for starters. I would definitely suggest the previous expansion, even though I haven't even played it. I just looked it up, and it's like more components and stuff. That's probably better. But if you're a newer player, I wouldn't suggest any expansions. Just simply play the base game until you get a really strong foothold on it and understand it very well, because this definitely adds more complications and very strong challenges. The turn-based mode's kind of cool too. I didn't play that one yet. I probably never will, although I did read the rules to understand it. But I personally like the crazy aspect of this game. It's kind of why I also like the Captain Sonar game. It's just a lot of craziness going on. But the fact that it's here to slow the game down, make it a little more easy for certain players, is a nice little addition. Would I pick up this expansion? Yes, because I would pick up every Galaxy Trucker expansion to have as much modules as I possibly can. I'm gonna say this is a solid expansion for those of you looking for missions. If you were a fan of the previous old missions back in the day, which I know a lot of people were, I'm definitely in the minority, then this is something definitely to check out for. But if you're not looking for missions and you just want more components and stuff like that, I'd probably suggest checking out the previous expansion, even though I haven't played it. So it's like you have to look it up for yourself. As far as I'm aware, it has more components than this going into that. If you're looking for missions and difficult cards and you're looking for VIPs, this is the one to get. It has a lot of complexities, probably more than the previous expansion. This adds a huge new extra depth and layer to the game. So for me, this is a recommendation, but it's on the lower end just because I don't care for the missions as much. But if you do, then it's a high recommendation for you guys. Thank you guys for watching another Unfiltered Gamer board game review for the game Galaxy Trucker, the expansion Do What? Where you're going to be attempting to complete missions. If you're interested in picking up, there's a link down below in the description. If you'd like to see how the base game is played, to understand how this works, then you can go and check out the video down below as well. I'll have them both linked. Hopefully I'll be able to check out the previous expansion because that seems more up my alley with more components. But what's here is great. Quality is great. The characters that you get like additional crew members and all that, all the component quality is exactly the same as the original. There's no difference in the cards and their backs and stuff like that. Nothing doesn't mesh, which is the most important thing with expansions for me. So it all fits very cohesively in the original Galaxy Trucker remodeled, remastered version. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, okay? Hit it. So I can make more of these videos. Hit the button, I appreciate it. And I look forward to traveling the galaxy with you next time. But I'm gonna win, get all the credits, and your ship is gonna get lost in space.